So picture this. You're 13 years old, and you're about to play a qualifying game into the Junior Olympics. You start warming up and your sidelines begin to look like what you'd imagine a professional game to look like. It was the 7th game point, and I was in rotation to serve. The ref's whistle blew, net. We were devastated. But as 13-year-olds, naturally, it was the end of the world and we should just quit volleyball while we were still young. So we were so busy mourning over our loss that we forgot we had to play another game for bronze, finding out later that if we had won that game, we would have also qualified to the Junior Olympics. Before leaving, our coaches called us in. They were also telling us how proud they were of us and how excited they were that we got so far and that this was a great start to our season. But they also said something that I heard many times after. I love winning, but I hate losing even more. Then they explained how we need to get back to the gym and practice everything we could have done better, bringing that in for the next qualifier. It wasn't until I was older that I really understood what they meant by this. They meant, I want you all to understand that this loss is not going to define you. You need to try again. Don't let this loss completely devastate you to the point where you're going to quit, like we were all thinking, because obviously a loss is a loss, and we should have made it, we should have won it. We're not good enough. This should just show to you guys that we cannot let ourselves be discouraged by failure. And this is something that our coaches really, really wanted to bring out in us. And coaches, I swear, I was listening as long as I was just shaking my head. I promise I was listening. This semester, I was once again reminded that things don't usually work out in your favor. There will always be something that is completely unplanned. And life will just kind of just throw it on you and expect that you will know what to do. So this semester, I was working with the United Nations Association of Greater Boston, and I was working on building their first case competition. What this case competition entailed was a competition that allowed students, undergrad and graduate, to pitch ideas to both the judges that we were going to bring in, and possibly work with the state and some of its entities to work on ways to include communities, especially low-income communities, on how to redistribute the revenue from this new climate action initiative that was being brought up. So after that, we did all the outreach we could. We did everything as perfectly as we possibly could. But as my speech is about failure, that wasn't necessarily the case, and unfortunately, it wasn't successful. Needless to say, this was something that my bosses really, really wanted to make sure that I was okay with and understood that this was just another chance to grow. This failure was not going to define how my semester went. This failure was just going to prepare me for everything that came after. So I just want to explain to you and explain to everyone that has ever seen failure. Disaster did not strike. I was not sucked into a vortex and sent who knows where. And the world was completely fine. It was not the end of the world. And so I just want you all to really think of loss differently than you ever have. Think of it not as a complete loss, but as a space you put yourself in. Failure is not the action of the actual defeat itself. It's where you put yourself and where you step in that starts defining you, and that's where failure lies. You need to step outside that failure to really grow as a person and grow as a professional. There's no shame in growing from that failure. There's no shame in understanding and realizing that this is just an experience that you can definitely grow from. And if you're going to do this again, you now have a couple things that you know you don't want to do again that you can definitely just improve on and make it in a way that this will be successful. So I want you all, and I want to invite you all, to step outside of your failure and open the door to your success. I'll see you on the other side.